Let's start here. You're not imagining it. Life really has gotten more expensive. Groceries cost more. Rent has gone up. Insurance, utilities, transportation, everything feels heavier than it used to. And it's not just a feeling. The data backs it up. Inflation, supply chain shifts, housing shortages, global uncertainty. It's all part of the landscape we're living in. So if you're wondering why your income isn't stretching as far, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because the baseline cost of living has changed. And when that happens, it's easy to slip into self-blame. Why can't I manage this? What am I doing wrong? Everyone else seems to be fine. But most people aren't fine. They're adjusting quietly. They're cutting corners. They're worrying at night. They're just not always talking about it out loud. This video isn't about pretending the problem doesn't exist. It's about finding small ways to take back control, even when the system feels overwhelming. Because while we can't control the price of eggs or gas or rent, we can control how clearly we see our situation. We can control the decisions we make, and we can choose to act from a place of clarity, not chaos. This isn't about making your life perfect. It's about making it more manageable, one piece at a time. So let's start small. In the next part, we'll talk about why everything feels worse than it is and how to get your head above the emotional noise. When things get expensive, it's not just your wallet that feels it. It's your whole nervous system. You might notice it in your body. Tension when you open your banking app, avoidance when a bill arrives, a spike of guilt when you buy something small, even if it's necessary. And often it's not the actual math that feels crushing, it's the weight of it all. There are a few reasons for this. First, constant input. We're surrounded by news, warnings, graphs, panic, comparison. Social media shows people living well. The news shows prices rising. And somewhere in between, you feel like you're drowning. Second, the brain exaggerates what it doesn't understand. If your money feels vague, it feels dangerous. If you don't know what's coming in or going out, your mind assumes the worst. That's not dysfunction. That's protection. Third, when you're stressed, even looking at numbers can feel like too much, so you avoid. But the longer you avoid, the heavier it feels. You fall into the cycle. Stress, avoidance, more stress, less clarity, even more stress. The good news? That cycle can be broken, not with a big dramatic fix, but with one quiet step, seeing clearly. Even a quick review of your current expenses can give your brain something real to hold on to. It shifts you from fear of the unknown to, okay, now I know. And once you know, you can act. Not perfectly, but with direction. In the next part, we'll talk about the first actual step. Not fixing, just seeing what's going on, without judgment. If life feels too expensive, the first thing you need isn't a full financial plan, it's a flashlight. Not to solve everything, just to see what's there, because financial stress thrives in the dark, and the fastest way to feel a little more grounded is to bring some light into it. So here's where to begin. Just write down what's coming in and what's going out. That's it. No categories, no judgment, no perfect spreadsheet. How much did you earn this month? What were your biggest fixed costs? What surprised you? Where did money feel like it disappeared? You can do this with a bank statement, a budgeting app, or even just pen and paper. The tool doesn't matter. What matters is that you look. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about replacing the vague, I can't afford anything feeling with real information. Because sometimes it's not as bad as it feels, and sometimes it is. But now you know. And knowing is where power starts. When you see everything clearly, even if it's messy, your brain calms down. You move from reaction mode to response mode. And from there, things become just a little more manageable. The goal isn't to fix it all today. It's to stop hiding from what's already happening. And the truth is, it usually takes 10-15 minutes to do a basic review. Not a whole afternoon, not a course, just a short, honest look. And that's often enough to feel just a little more in control. In the next part, we'll talk about what to do once you've looked, and why a micro plan is way more effective than a perfect one. Now that you've seen where your money is going, it's tempting to try and fix everything at once, to make the perfect budget, to color code the categories, to plan out the next 6 months. But here's the truth. When life already feels expensive, that kind of pressure doesn't help. It overwhelms. So instead of a master plan, build a micro plan. What does that mean? It means choosing one focus for a short time. For example, track just your food spending for the next 7 days. Set a weekly cap on delivery or coffee. Create a no new subscriptions this month rule. Move $5 a day into a separate account, just to prove you can. This is not about the amount, it's about regaining agency. Micro plans work because they're doable, they build momentum, and they give you fast feedback, so you feel progress, not pressure. Let's say your micro plan is to track all expenses this week. No judgment, just awareness. By the end of 7 days, you'll know more about your patterns than any spreadsheet could teach you. And that clarity turns into confidence. You don't have to budget for the next year. You don't have to fix your entire financial history. You just need one small step that makes you feel a little more in control today. Once you feel that shift, you'll be more ready for the next one, and then the next. This is how sustainable change starts. Not with one huge decision, but with repeated small wins. In the next part, we'll explore what control actually looks like and how redefining it can change everything. When we hear the word control in the context of money, it often brings up tightness, restricting, cutting back, saying no to everything. But real control isn't about becoming strict. It's about becoming clear. Financial control doesn't mean never spending. It means knowing why you're spending. It means knowing what's possible and what's not, based on real numbers, not guesses or guilt. You don't need to become a minimalist monk or track every penny. You just need to stop letting your money decisions be accidental. True control sounds more like this. I know exactly what my fixed costs are. I chose to spend extra on this, and I'm okay with that. I paused this subscription because I wasn't using it. I made a plan and adjusted it when things changed. Notice, no shame, no perfection, just awareness and flexibility. That's the real secret. Control isn't about rigidity, it's about adaptability. It's not about having the right system, it's about having any system that responds to your real life. Because life isn't predictable. Your income may change, prices will fluctuate, emergencies will happen. But if you've built a foundation of awareness and response, you're not thrown off, you adjust. And that's power. Quiet power. Not flashy, not dramatic, but solid. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to stop waiting for things to get better and start taking small steps now with what you have, because you don't need to fix everything, you just need to begin. One of the biggest lies we believe when money feels tight is this: I'll get to it when things calm down. But here's the truth. Things might not calm down soon. Prices might not drop. Life might not become magically easier. And waiting for the right time often means doing nothing for a very long time. What you need isn't a perfect moment. You need a starting point, a small, doable action. Not a fix, a step. Because once you start, momentum builds, and momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Maybe your step is checking your bank balance every morning. Maybe it's unsubscribing from 2 services you forgot you were paying for. Maybe it's talking honestly with a friend about your money stress, just to stop carrying it alone. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is movement. Why? Because the longer you stay stuck in anxiety, the more it becomes a fog. And in that fog, even simple decisions feel heavy. But when you act, even in a small way, you clear a bit of space. That space makes you braver, more focused, more able to take the next step. And over time, small steps become big change. Not overnight, but steadily. You don't need to solve your whole financial life this week. You don't need to get it all together. You just need to start with what's real right now and keep going. In the final part, we'll bring everything together and talk about why clarity matters more than control. It's bring it all together. When life feels too expensive, it's easy to spiral, to feel powerless, small, behind, like no matter what you do, it's not enough. But here's what most people miss. You don't have to change everything to change something, and you don't need full control, you need clarity. Because clarity creates space, it helps you breathe, think, choose. And when you can choose, you're no longer helpless. You've already done more than most by watching this far. You faced a topic most people avoid. You asked hard questions and stayed open. That alone is a form of taking control. So now what's next? Start where you are. Keep it small. Keep it honest. You don't have to rebuild your entire financial system. Just clean one corner of it. Track one thing. Reclaim one habit. Make one choice on purpose. It will feel small, maybe even silly. But it's not. It's the start of stability. Because financial strength doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from paying attention, consistently, gently, and with compassion for yourself. You are not failing. You are learning how to see. And the more clearly you see, the more power you have. Thanks for being here. If this helped, take a breath, leave a comment, and do one small thing today that your future self will thank you for. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to begin. If this video made something click for you, consider subscribing. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one and leave a comment, even just a thanks or your own story. I read everything.